See it was. So basically you're in the best place for the start. So we're basically going to have a focus tonight on what you're feeling on the inside. So basically that connection that you have with your own body awareness. And it's not that you're trying to be in control of anything, it's just to observe from the inside and to try to make sense of what's going on. So as you know with Yin, there's a number of different ways that we can kind of focus in. So we can focus on the physical, we can focus on the mental, we can focus on the energy and on the emotional side of things of what conjures up. So tonight is mostly on the physical, but there will be an energetic component as well, because the poses that I have picked will create changes inside your energy flows. And that's something that I will kind of just remind you of the way through, just to check in with yourself to see how you feel. So the focus is mainly on backs, hips and legs. And there will be poses that you will definitely know, and I don't want you to have a preconceived idea about what that pose will do to you, because you know as you can set yourself up at any level, and you can be using all your supports to make sure that you don't go any deeper if you don't want to, but you can also adjust so that you can if you feel comfortable with it. As with anything, as you set up in the physical, that level of stretch sensation that you take it to, if we have 10 as our maximum, the suggestion is not to go over a 7 out of 10. But if you know that a stretch is very tight, very strong for you, you can go less than that, but probably no less than a 4 or a 5. Otherwise, you're not going to really get a change in effect. So you're in charge of that based on the feedback that your body gives you. But at any point, if it doesn't feel good, if it feels like there's a sharp pain, if there's anything that feels like you can't be with the stretch, then pull back. Almost take an ease out of it and see whether you can stay with it at a lower level. So we're going to start with a body scan. And if there's anything that you need help with as we go through, just let me know. But for this first section, I want you to just allow yourself to find that most comfortable position. And I have left, if you want to use one, a little eye pillow beside your purple blocks. So it should be at the head and end of them. So if you decide that you want to use that, then you can, just to block out any light. And that way, so even if you don't have an eye pillow, if you're at home, then you can just use, whether it's a bit of a blanket or a piece of clothing, if you choose to go a little bit darker, to close out anything from your day. Allowing your eyes to close. Allowing your arms to rest wherever they feel comfortable, whether that's down by your sides, whether it's connecting to the front of your body. I want you to draw your awareness inside your body. I want you to find that feeling of your connection to the blanket underneath. Noticing how that feels in your body. Notice, do you feel heavy? Your connection with the back of your head to your pillows or the mat beneath. Feeling the connection with your shoulders and the mat below. Connection with the back of your ribs to the mat below. Connection with your hips. Connection down through your legs and down into the feet. All connecting to the mat. Sense of how your body feels as you feeling that grounded connection. Feel relaxed. As we can't switch off from the mind to body connection, does your mind feel like it's in this space, closed off from the world that's outside this room, to really drop in, to notice how your body is feeling? Following that affirmation, I quickly release any stress of the day and relax my body and mind. Quickly release any stress of the day and relax my body and mind. Draw in to the body in that sense, a little deeper observation. You are not your body. You're living inside your mind, observing what is on the inside as well as on the outside. So whether you are this entity in the back of your own mind, observing what lies in front through your eyes, through all your senses, so that you can delve and drop your attention into any area of the body and make a conscious judgment, a reflection of what you feel in that area. Just noticing it. Not attaching any emotion or any feelings of needing to change anything. But just noticing. So as you let your observation lens open up inside your body, do you feel like you're drawn to any particular area? And if you are, what is drawing you there? What is the sensation? What is the calling card of that area. And if you're not, the overall sensation that you have of your body, again, what is it? What information is coming through to you? Sometimes it's hard to describe or to assign a label to what you're feeling or experiencing. But the only label I want you to be more conscious of is if it feels like it gives you that affirmative action, that as we take you into poses, that you can feel the information that the body is telling you. You can make that judgment if it feels confident and feels free to move into the pose. Or if you are gleaning information that tells you to hold back. I'm not ready for that yet. And in either of those two poles of moving forward or holding, back just a little. Be curious about that information that your body is giving you. Listen to it. Still try to let go of any tension, to relax your body and to relax your mind. Fully release any stress of the day and relax my body and mind. Just noticing how not only how you feel at this moment in time, but also whether you rate the energy level that you have in your body right now. And you can assign any label to that as to what type of energy it feels like to you. But just to notice where you are with that energy in your body. Breath in, let the breath go. And take another breath in and let the breath go. We're going to slowly start to bring you out of that resting rebound pose, and we're going to bring you into your first pose. And that first pose is butterfly. So in your own time, we're going to use your two purple blocks. So you can, if you've used the eye pillow or anything to cover the edge, you can slowly release it. The eyes just gently opening, taking in your surroundings. And we're going to bring you to use your yoga bricks. So if you want to slowly bring yourselves up into a seated position, and we're going to place ones, we're going to use this as a chest opener to start with, but we're also going to open up through the inner thighs. So your first block is going to go just across where the prominent ribs are, the V of the ribs. So in opposition to that. And then the other one is your pillow at whatever height that you need to be at. And then the legs are going to be in butterfly. So that feeling that you're going to open up through the prominent ribs, so you feel it's like a little mini back bend. Okay. And the purpose of this is to allow the chest to open. But if you don't like the head falling backwards, then have your pillow a little bit higher. But if you feel that you're comfortable let the head go lower, whether it's a block or whether it's a pillow, you can use any device you have to hand. And once you get yourself into position, the soles of the feet can be together, the knees can fall to the outside, with the feet as close to you as you feel comfortable to go. And again, we have a couple of things that we can use as an add-on if you need to. So if you feel like you want to add some extra encouragement, so remember that number is that 7 out of 10. So if you wanted, you could use a bolster between the thighs to rest on. Or if you felt like you're ready to go for more than that, you've got 2 sandbags. So you could put 1 sandbag on each knee. So whether that's a bolster, whether it's heavy blankets, whatever you have to use to hand. And even when you get to your position, if your head is on a level where you feel that you still want to use an eye pillow or a covering, you can do. At any point, blankets and things, if you want them over you, if you need me to hand once you get settled in. So it's a chest opener, possibly a throat opener, and it's an inner thigh opener. So as you get settled into your position, with the eyes gently closed, that observation lens, drop inside your body. And to reflect on the information that's coming into your body. In Yin Yoga, that art of being able to be still is a battle in the body and in the mind. Using that information that the body is giving you about the level that you have chosen. And almost keeping that little lens, just observing it through the time that we're here. Nothing is permanent. So even the sensations that you're aware of now may change as the time passes. How those inner thighs and how the groin feels. Not passing judgment and needing to change unless the level is too strong for you to be with, or if it's causing any pain. It doesn't feel like it's a positive sensation. Noticing how you feel around the back and into the chest. Are you able to blend in with what's below you, to allow the body to mold to the contours? Depending on where the head is resting, if you have taken that throat opener, do you feel rested? Do you feel open? And as we're opening the front of the body, noticing whatever language that you're using inside. A discussion that could go on inside whenever you're picking up on this information. Notice it. And as you be with those sensations, be curious about them. Take a breath. And as you release the breath, if you have anything resting on the legs now, if you want to slowly maybe slide them off to the sides. And slowly bring you to dismount from your block. So whether that's rolling off to the side, drawing your knees in together and then rolling to your side. To come back to the mat again, but we're going to continue with opening the inner thighs and the front of the hips. So once you find your connection back to the mat again, if you choose to use a pillow, you certainly can. But we're going to go for that cross-legged pose. So maybe it's right ankle over the left, and your feet are as close to you as you can bring your heels. So ankles crossed and the knees opening around again. Cross the ankle one on top of the other, yeah. And it brings a little bit more external rotation into the thighs. So from here again, if you choose in that cross ankle pose to have anything on the thighs again, you can certainly pop anything onto them again. If you want to use a bolster between the two legs, or the sandbags, or anything on either side. If it feels too much in this position, whether you put a block underneath the outer edges of the hips, or if you want to use both, you want to challenge it, but take a pause with the blocks to stop you from going too deep, and then you can always shuffle them a little bit further down the thighs as it eases. So it's that balance in your own body to find how far do I need to go if I'm going to challenge it to that 5, 6, 7, wherever I want to go. So is it an increase in gravity that we're adding with the use of anything weighted down on the legs? Or do we need to buffer that with the support underneath the thighs to stop you from opening too wide? And again, dropping in on that observation lens to notice what information is your body sending you. Every pose can conjure up something different. Listen again to the language that can chatter inside. Be with this pose. Relax into it. Quickly release any stress of the day and relax my body and mind. The wording that we're using with ourselves to describe what we're feeling. This battle sometimes between being able to relax but define the challenge within. Noticing that information is almost to store it so that as we get ready to change to the other cross, so left ankle crossing over on top of the right. And again, this side could be very different. So as you change them over, you can draw the knees in a little bit if you have anything resting on them, whether you need to lighten the load to get the switch. But as you switch them over again, drop in on that observation lens within the body to ascertain whether is it the same as the other side, or again, do I need more assistance to help open that challenge, or do I need more assistance to help block it from going too deep? As you settle in, that reflection on the difference straight away that you notice between this left and your previous right. Being curious about the information that's coming in and that reflection of it, of the differences. Noticing the wording that you're using that maybe describes those feelings, those sensations. That level of challenge where I want it to be for whatever it is you want to get out of these poses. A physical challenge in the body, or is it just to be able to be here, to feel open, to not fight the poses? Between your body and mind, figuring out how can I be with the pose, be relaxed with the pose, still feel the challenge that I'm looking for. How do I feel? Right. Checking in with your energy levels. Changed from that first pose that we were in, your butterfly. Did it change again as we brought it into that cross-legged pose? Has it changed again as we've come into the other side? Breath in. Let the breath go. Another breath in. Let the breath go. Slowly starting to bring yourself out of that pose into our rebound. So releasing the legs, finding your way back into your relaxation pose. So finding an open position, finding wherever you need to be. Let the body unwind itself from those poses. Observation lens to notice what information is now coming through in your body. sense of that information. The body find its connection to the surfaces below. Breath. Let the breath go. Allowing another full breath in. Letting the breath go. We're going to bring you into your next pose. You won't have to move too far for this one. We're going to bring you into your banana asana. So with this, we're going to start off with the body on the left side of your mat. So if you want to bring yourselves onto your back, shuffling over to the left side, so the hips, the legs, the shoulders, and you can still keep that pillow handy, but still being on your back. Just reorienting, if you like, to the left side of the mat. Once you feel that your body is lined up with that left side, I want you to take your feet to the right, so that you're bringing in that side bend. So if I was trying to create that long C curve down through the side of my body, that left side. So the option here then is with the upper body as well. So one more thought with the legs. If you bring your left leg on top of your right leg, and this is where if you need to secure them in place, maybe something heavier, a bolster or a sandbag, might help to just secure them down so the hips stay flat on the floor as the legs are held in place. And then from there, if you choose to take it that little bit further, then the upper body also moves towards the right. But again, you're in control of how far you take the upper body. So you're creating the biggest C curve that you feel like you want to create. And then if you choose to add on anything more, the arms can be up. If the arm is off the floor, we could use maybe, again, a pillow, a sandbag to help open up through that shoulder to bring it onto the floor. Or just to bring it to where it can. And again, it's supportive. Do you want something to help press the shoulder more open, or do you want something underneath it to stop it moving? Yeah. So with this position, because it's a bit of a grower, especially on the shoulders, if anything goes on to the shoulders to help weight them down, if you're going for that open position, just be mindful at any point that if you do happen to get pins and needles, it's not always a bad thing. But if you feel that you can't be with any of the sensations, you can always pull back. So it's recognizing in your body, can you feel that level of challenge in the side body, the outer hips, side waist. And if the arms are challenged overhead, maybe up through the underarm, all the way up through the upper arm. The hips are heavy on the mat, so we don't feel like they're rolling off. They are sinking down. I'm opening and lengthening through my left side spine. And I may be shortening through that right side of my spine, but if anything feels nippy or uncomfortable, can I find more length as opposed to more of a side bend? So settle in here. Listening to that voice inside that's with that commentary as it looks through the observation lens. Briefly. I feel like I'm holding any part of my body tensioned almost purposely to hold me out of this pose. Or can I come back to being grounded, to let everything melt into the surface below, to find that heaviness? Noticing as we're here, again, as time is passing, how the sensations are feeling through the side body, the legs, the hips, the waist, the shoulders, and into the arms. Finding words inside to describe the sensations. Curious. Really delving into what these sensations are. Feel like. I am letting go of any fears, worries, or negative thoughts. I am releasing tension and letting go of any stress. Let go of any fears, worries, or negative thoughts. I release any tension and I'm letting go of any stress. Breath in, breath out. Another full breath in and let the breath go. The arms are overhead, slowly starting to bring them down. Allowing the upper body to find its way back over in line with the hips. And then starting to adjust the legs, rest of the body to find your straight line. To find what feels easier to get into center. Take this rebound, let the body settle. Listening intently to what the body is experiencing. As you've drawn out of that pose, noticing how the sensations are changing. And what language or what label can you define what you're experiencing? What's appropriate and what does it conjure up? Noticing how you feel now. little snapshot almost of what you're experiencing, how you feel right now. Checking in with where your energy levels are at now. The label that you would assign to that energy. And we then start to move gently over to the right side of your mat. So bringing the hips, the shoulders, the feet over. And as we take them over to find that length first, then we're going to draw the feet over to the left. So create our other banana. And again, as we bring the legs over to the left, the right leg crosses on top of the left. Allowing the hips to stay flat on the floor. And then the upper body, can I bring the upper body also over to the left? And does it feel like when I get here with the level of side bend that I'm bringing in, does it feel like that is enough? Or do I want to place anything weighted on the shoulder? How deep can I bring the body over to the left to create the biggest side curve in that right side of the body that I can? Finding the depth on this pose. Drawing that awareness into the right side body, the right thigh, the hip, the side waist, the side ribs, up through the armpit, up into the arm. Do I feel like that level of challenge for me is where I want it to be? Noticing. And I feel right now in this pose. Maybe already drawing comparisons to the other side. My right side feel long and open around the spine. I feel very compressed on the left side. I try to keep that sense of length. Settle in. Let go of any tensions that our observation lens is noticing within my body. The equivalent of external noise is the inner noise of thinking. And the equivalence of external silence is inner stillness. Whenever there is some silence around you, listen to it. That means just notice it. Pay attention to it. Listening to silence awakens the dimension of stillness within yourself. It is only through stillness that you can be aware of silence. That in the moment of noticing the silence around you, not thinking. You are aware, but not thinking. When you become aware of silence, immediately there is that state of inner, still alertness. You are present. Getting feedback. How the body is changing. How it's responding. How it's settling in. Letting go of any fears, worries, or negative thoughts. And release any tension. And I'm letting go of any stress. Deep breath in. Let go. A full breath in. And let it go. Slowly bringing the arms down. Allowing the upper body to find that line of the hips. Allowing the legs to slowly release. Find that rest pose, whether the legs are bent or straight. Wherever you need to be for this rebound. Again, exploring the sensations as you come out of the pose. Observing what's changing. In those changing sensations, what labels are you assigning? Be curious about what those sensations are inside your body. So now you're going to start to bring you up into your next pose, and that's child's pose. This will be a little bit shorter than the past few poses, but it's just in case it back felt a little condensed from that very long 8-minute banana. So, not to mention 12 minutes, but hips up front. So we're going to bring you into child's pose, and you can have whether your toes are tucked under in child's pose, whether they're flat, whether your knees are wide or narrow, whether your arms are reaching long or whether they're resting underneath the forehead or down by your sides. Set this up wherever you choose, and if you would like to have something more weighted on your back here, then that's another addition that we can have, just to have something across the pelvis. Deep as you can pull those hips back to allow that fold. Allowing the hips to fall back. Any weight that's resting on the pelvis, again, is an encourager. hope a child's pose is a nourishing pose. I'm breathing in relaxation. I'm inviting positive energy into my body. And breathing in relaxation. I'm inviting positive energy into my body. Noticing again where your body feels like it's at. The sensations on the inside. Energy you feel that you have with that. The breath in. Letting the breath fully go. Now, if you have sandbags or anything weighted on the back, whether you can slowly draw, whether it's more into a box to make sure that it doesn't slide off towards the head. But to draw yourself up from your child's pose. If it slides off the back, just watch out for the toes. Drop off to the side, whatever feels the easiest and the safest. So the next challenge, whether you love it or hate it, this is a bit like a Marmite one. Frog. So whether you get yourself, you've got two mats, you can get yourself, but we're going to draw you on to just enough space for your knees to go as wide as you can. So if the mat's too narrow, you'll need to go sideways. But again, if you feel like you want to use that support, the bolster or pillows might be towards the pubic bone and on the chest. So as you're in that box, you have your hips and your knees in line. And then you're trying to let the whole of the lower legs slide out so that the knees stay in line with the hips, but you have whatever height that you need to support the upper body so that you're not just going to slide deeper and deeper into this one. But find that level again, the height that you need, whether it's one bolster, two bolsters, 6 pillows, 1 pillow, whatever you feel that you need in there that will encourage you to stay in this position. I would say, if you turn yourself just and they do turn the sides. So if it feels like just stop and bolster forwards. So if it feels like you need to get higher, but it's whether you get back to this. So So as I'm here, I'm trying to encourage my body to find that level of challenge that I have set for myself. Can I be with my hips in line with my knees? I find, I don't know whether I should say the word comfortable position here, but can I find that position that I can be in where I know that I have enough support from whatever it is that's underneath me? Wherever the arms need to be is support here, whether they are supporting you. But remember, as much as possible with yin poses, we're trying to use bolsters, pillows, so that it offloads as much weight from any part of the body, so that you're not having to hold yourself out of a pose. You're trying to let the bolsters, the supports, take the weight so that you can mold and relax around, almost that you're not even aware that you're in a pose that you're having to hold on to. You're just there. And with this as a pose, if it feels like over time, as you settle in, as I be with this pose and I try to find that mindset, that mental release, I feel like those knees are going to drift either wider, or my body, my pelvis, my ribs, my body are sinking a little lower. But only if that feels good to me. You feel like you're in the pose and you feel like you're wanting to find more depth, then you might consciously have to let the knees nudge wider. And as much as we're always trying to be still with this one, if there's a little slide as the depth wants to open, as the body wants to relax and get into this pose, allow the body to get there. And I let go around my supports. I feel like I need encouragement here. I feel like I need something to help weight down the pelvis. Yeah. Noticing the language of the narrative that's inside your mind with this pose. Is it positive, friendly, and encouraging? Or is it a negative voice, a negative tone, discouraging? During these holds, these longer holds with Yin Yoga, we have this opportunity to practice almost like an advanced level of paying attention to our lives. We get an opportunity to notice that our habitual pattern, what that pattern is, a pattern of reactions that we take. Do we water the weeds or the flowers? Are we constantly craving a different experience? Are we tuning into our yang energy and trying to change the experience? Can we actually get on board with the yin challenge of sitting in the pose and bearing witness to the experience as it is, and not as you would like it to be? No choosing, no preference, no fading, no hiding, no fixing. Here we're still delving into that sense of relaxation, listening to our own voice, listening to our own energy. Let your body feel. How does your energy levels feel now? And slowly take a deep breath in. Those little movements with the breath, just creating that little resonance to move slowly as we want to emerge from this pose. Maybe it's sliding forwards, maybe it's folding back, maybe it's releasing the legs. And your rebound pose can be on your tummy, on your back, on your side, wherever you feel that you need to be. Nobody finding your way out from this one. Challenge of Yin Yoga, at least one of them, is acceptance of the whole experience, just as it is. And through willing engagement with this practice, we can aspire to find greater levels of wisdom and growth, not only in our bodies, but also in our minds and that connection. And slowly take another breath here, reviewing that changeover in the body as we've drawn out of a strong pose there. Noticing where we're at, our bodies, our minds, our energy. As we then start to bring into our next pose. And for this, we're going to bring you into dragonfly. So we're going to slowly bring you up into seated. So with dragonfly, if you know that in seated, you tend to sit with that kind of slump in the back a little bit. You might use maybe, whether it's a block or maybe it's another blanket, but begin sitting up onto the edge of it, so that as you get yourself onto it, that even if you don't, if you find that it's comfortable to sit like this, just dropping off the edge of it just encourages that extra forward tilt in the pelvis. But even though I know I'm comfortable here, if I let myself drop off the edge of it, it presses me a little bit more into that more upright position. So you can be just literally sliding off the edge of it so that it feels like you're folding. The legs are as wide as you wish to go in terms of accepting that challenge. And again, for this, if you want to be side on or whatever, you've got those double mats with you so that your heels are on something soft as well, and that they're not going to move on you as you come into the pose. The width of the legs is what's going to keep this at maybe that up to that 7, that challenging level, or whatever number you feel that you're prescribing for yourself. So with this one, depending on how far you're able, could you get pancake flat, tummy, belly, everything on the floor, or you might be somewhere in between. So this is where, if you're feeling that you're more upright, the bolster underneath the forehead to support you at whatever angle, or maybe you need to stack things up in front to the appropriate height that you feel that you can rest, and whether the head, the forehead is resting and the arms are just relaxing, palms up on the floor, whatever height that you need to find that level of challenge. So whatever surface you're sitting on, it's allowing you to tip forwards. Whatever you're supporting the upper body with or the head with, it's got you there, it's holding, it's securing. It's allowing you to fully relax, to rest with support. But it's also allowing you to find that level of challenge that you need. As I'm here, I feel like I need, again, is there assistance that I need to rest a little deeper? So maybe something resting across the shoulders. Breathing and relaxation. I am inviting positive energy into my body. Breathing and relaxation. I'm inviting positive energy into my body. That deep breath in. Let the breath go. Take a deep breath in. Really let the breath go. And if you have something resting on the shoulders, you can slowly let it either slide down the back or you can draw it off to the side. We're going to bring you into your rebound. And finding your way into a comfortable pose. Wherever you feel your body needs to be. So again, finding that comfortable space to let the body unwind. Experience what's coming out of that pose. pose can conjure up a different sense of energy and sensations in the body. So noticing, how do I feel as I come out from dragonfly? What feedback is that internal observation lens bringing up? Energy do I feel running through my mind and my body? What label can I assign to it? Gently, we're going to bring you up into your next pose. So we're going to come into, depending on how your hips are, so it's either square or bar log pose, or it might be easy pose, just depending. So for that, we need to bring you up into seated. So it's basically sitting cross-legged, and depending on how your hips go, I know I can't even demonstrate bar log. So if it was that idea, if your legs and your hips sometimes all that, I could demonstrate. But your two lower legs would be one on top of the other, a bit like I'm just in my Cossack arms. You can do it that way, okay. But it's like, it's called a double pigeon sometimes. So if it felt like you could do that, no. But they would be together. Otherwise, you're trying to cross them as far as they will go. Okay. And then you're trying to encourage them to release. So this might be one again, if you feel like you're sitting slumped with the lower back, that maybe you're still on the edge of that blanket or the edge of that block. So it encourages you to sit a little bit more upright through the spine to encourage the knees to fall more open. Now for this one again, depending on your hips, will depend whether you feel like you're able to fold forwards with this one. And that might be again using the bolster underneath the forehead. Or it might be even if you need encouragement on the knees, to have it resting on the knees and then to let the body rest down over them. This one again is a bit of a grower, so if it feels quite strong in the hips even where you are, that's where your yoga bricks could settle down in underneath the outer part of the hip, so that there's a bolster to stop you from going too deep. But again, it's your number. It's your level. So find where that needs to be. Bring in relaxation. I am finding positive energy into my body. And as we're here, if we feel like we need that extra support from gravity, that having, whether it's a weight resting over the tops of the shoulders again, if I need that extra encouragement to nudge me deeper. Breathing in. I know I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know I am breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. I know I'm breathing out. If you have any weight on the shoulders, again, drawing it off. We're going to take you straight into the other side with the legs here. So if you're able to switch that crossover with the legs, taking it straight away into that second side. So find with this one, is it again, are they on top of one another, or are you more in that cross-legged pose that they're closed tightly, or that maybe they're wider at the ankles? And if you feel like you need more encouragement to be dropping off that block or that blanket to encourage the spine to be more upright. What height do you need your supports? And do you need anything under the thighs to help block their drop? And if it feels like you want to use that extra support across the shoulders, draw it on to help weight you down. noticing, experiencing, reflecting the information coming from within. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Have a deep breath in, letting the breath go. Another deep breath in, letting the breath go. And slowly drawing yourself into that rebound. And again, you can choose where this is to allow the body to open from this pose. Whether lying on the back, front, the side, wherever you need to be. That awareness inside of sensations, how your body feels after unraveling. Energy levels inside, what level would you do? into your final pose. And it's half saddle. So we're going to slowly bring you up into seated. So for half saddle, depending on how your hips feel here, how the front of the thighs will open. So my left leg is out straight, or the right, either way. But the bent leg, the knee is in front of the hip. My foot is either turned out to the side, or I can have it tucked in closer and underneath me. And then the level of stretch will be determined by how far I'm able to lie back. So with this, if I know that I need to have maybe a couple of bolsters stacked up, or even in some cases, you may need to have your shoulders against the wall. But if you feel that you could also, there's that option that if you could come down to lie down, maybe it's just one bolster, maybe it's flat to the floor. And with this, a few things can be of assistance here. So maybe, yeah, it could be a sandbag or a weight across the hips as you lean back to help encourage the hips to stay heavy. The back wants to arch on this one, so whatever you can use to help keep the back long can be useful. And if the knee is shooting up in the air, maybe it's trying to allow the foot to come further back if it can. So it allows the knee to find length. So if the knee is up too high, then I would encourage your body to be under up there. And then whether, again, weighting down through the pelvis, or possibly in this, or possibly weighing down on the thigh. So you can just adjust that before you get the leg wherever you give them. There, yeah. Just for the place. Okay. So again, once you're in with this position, does it feel like you need to be higher, lower? Do you want a second one? Yeah. So depending where I am, if I choose to have an iPad on this one, I certainly can. Depending on the feedback coming into the body with this one, the strength, the number that you're bringing yourself to, this is a stronger pose. But finding your challenge within it. With that voice that's inside, that conversation that you may be having inside around how this pose feels, the sensations that are coming through the thigh, through the hip, through the knee. Can very much change as this sensation grows in the body. The delving into muscle tissue and stretching. The connection into the tendons. Connection into all of the fascial tissues around. Each one can bring a changing sensation. But notice it. Curious about it. still with this pose. Frequency of energy can you feel resonating and reverberating through your body? A deep breath in, that slow breath out. Again, that deep breath in, that slow breath out. Slowly change it on to the other side. So that might mean just removing any weights that you've got across the body. And maybe you're rolling away from the bent leg, whatever feels that you can muster to come into the center. And take a moment before coming into the second side. This is a strong one. Yeah. Take that little moment before we switch over. Letting that unwind in the body. And then as you're ready, we're going to bring you into your second side. So again, this could be very different. You may need to be higher, maybe you can go lower, but once you draw that bent leg into position, whether the foot is out to the side, whether it's tucked underneath you, once you lie back, the knee will automatically lift. So can you reach the knee or draw the foot further back towards you? Or do you need to be higher? You need to allow that weight across the midsection to help encourage the back to be long. Hip flexors want to pull your back into an arch, so we want to try to encourage that length in the body. Again, using whatever weight across the tummy that we need, if that helps to keep us secure and down. And if we need anything else across the top of the thigh, we need to add that little bit of weight if we feel that that's encouraging. body settles in here. That comparison to the other side. Noticing that narrative inside, the energy that's with that. Language that that inner voice uses. And the labels that it assigns. Does it conjure up a restful position? Does it conjure up more vibrant energy? I'm breathing in relaxation. I'm inviting positive energy into my body. And release any tension. Letting go of any stress. Slowly starting to remove any supports. Starting to draw yourself into your final rebound and that final Shavasana. So wherever slowly the body needs to move to draw yourself into that resting pose. Let the body unwind to find its own space, connecting and grounding into the mat below. Exploring these last sensations as they are weaving their way through the body. Final curiosity of the unwind from our pose. Why it draws you into that rest pose. How does your body feel? How do your energy levels lay? Wherever this practice has taken your body, has led the mind, that hope of feeling grateful for the many ways that you're blessed with what your body can do and how it can have an effect on your mind and on everything comes ahead of you. Apply that slow, deep breath in. Let the breath sigh, breath drawing in and sighing out through the mouth. Final breath. Allow your mind to feel that connection again to the floor below. To bring your awareness back outside of your body. Wherever you are, you can slowly allow the eyes to so softly open. Just to notice the colors, shape of things around you. To bring yourself back into your room. At your own time, just slowly bringing yourself into a comfortable seat. Whatever that may be. Slowly bring the body there. We're going to draw the hands to your heart center. Again, just that little bit of gratitude for what your body has been able to do, but to hopefully take away with you tonight as you hopefully set up for sleep. The relaxation relaxation that has come with that. It's a nice day. So as ever, you might feel like you've aged a bit. So just take your time as you start to move after this. And yeah, just check in how you feel. Hopefully that felt useful. Hopefully that felt nice in the body.